Okay, today's class, we're going to look at one phrasal verb in particular. Now, the phrasal verb we'll look at is to see through, or we can look at it in two ways. We can see something through, or we can see through something. ST, of course, meaning something. Now, before we look into this, before we even get to what we're going to, before we look into, when we look at our phrasal verbs, in general, when a phrasal verb is open or closed, it doesn't make a difference. In general. So in this case, for example, in the first phrasal verb, I have my verb plus and my preposition, and my object is inside. In the second phrasal verb, I have my verb and my preposition, and the object is outside. Now, in general, that doesn't make a difference. With some phrasal verbs, it does. That by splitting or opening the phrasal verb, the meaning changes completely. So if I were to, for example, say the phrasal verb pick up. So I could say, for example, I'll pick up the kids at 3. Or I'll pick the kids up at 3. So in this case, splitting or not splitting the phrasal verb makes absolutely no difference at all. So, oh shit, motherfucker. So in this case, the kids is my object. And by just for reminder's sake, this blue part here is our object of our sentence. We know our subject is our protagonist of our sentence. They're the hero or the villain. It's the doer of the action. And it's generally I, he, or she, because I'm talking to you. I'm talking about my experience. He or she, because we love gossip. We love fafaka. We love to talk about one other protagonist. But the object of our sentence, so 3 parts of our sentence, no matter how complex, is always our subject, our verb is 2, and of course our object. No matter how complex, no matter how articulate you're being, no matter how profound, a sentence structure is actually remarkably simple. What makes good communication and what makes really interesting speech or storytelling is the ability to choose good verbs, or the ability to describe the action in a more effective manner. It's not really the amount of words you use, but there are only these 3 parts: our subject, our verb, and our object. And so in this case, objects can be anything. It could be an action, which means to run. So our objects, or running, it'll be either a gerund or an infinitive. Our object can be a person, him, her, or Kian. Our object can be, where the fuck is my thing here? A concept, English, and so forth. And our object can be something tangible, like a pizza. But either way, that's the object of our sentence. So here with pick up, buscar, we know, the object here, the kids, and the object here is inside. There's no difference. The only thing with like a lot of phrasal verbs like this, if I want to use the object pronoun, I can only use it inside. The object pronoun, him, her, them, us, can only be inside the phrasal verb. We can't put it here. I can't say, I'll pick up them later on. No, I can only say, I'll pick them up later on. So to pick up, to drop off, to put up, most of our phrasal verbs, there's no difference between opening and closing. But here there is. So let's start with the first one. Let's start with the second one. So let's open this up and we'll say to see through something. So let's say, let's keep it really, really fucking simple. So I can't see through my glasses. So this is really obvious. So there we would say that my glasses are not transparent, or there's a problem, but I can't literally see through this object. And that's it. We can see through, and because see is so let's also look at this word here. See as a verb is experiential. I made a video on this some other fucking class. You can go through and see them, but no one does. I mean, you're not even watching this right now. I'm just saying this shit to myself so I can do this and try to keep up with the algorithm so I can prove to myself that I'm doing something worthy with my free time. Experiential. What do I mean by experiential? Is that you don't do it. The verb that you do is to look. This is intentional, or it's a conscious action. It's your free will. You look, but you can see or you can't see. It's experiential because your brain creates it for you. When we talk about seeing in the present, I say, I can see you or I can't see you. Almost always. In the past, we can say, I saw something, sure. In the future, I will see, I'm going to see. But in the present, it's always I can or I can't. So in the present, I can say, look, I can't see through my glasses. Can you see through the window? Easy. It's logical. There's nothing magical there. But what about if I were to say, listen, I can see through your facade. And yes, this little sigil here, the little fancy little C we have in Latin languages, it's still there in English. It is. In fact, a lot of English is French. And even the spelling of those words is French spelling. And even your English keyboards will still convert them into the French. So first of all, what is a facade? Well, the actual kind of definition of a facade is just the front of a building. So when we want to make a new restaurant, but we want to make the restaurant that's themed like a castle. Yes, this is a fucking castle. How do castle doors look? Oh shit, my door's too low. And then it looks like a cactus. This is a cactus castle, full of cactus kings and queens that are all green and prickly inside. There's the green and prickliness. So the front of this building is my facade. It is the kind of all of the beautiful kind of not architecture, shit that I put on my building to make my building look inviting, to make it look different to all the buildings. That's my facade. It's the face of that building, and different to the bricks and mortar. So the facade is kind of the false appearance. It's not the false appearance, it's the dressed up appearance of a building. But then what is the facade in a person? Well, the facade in a person is, let's say there's someone that you know, like your, what do we call it? Not your enemy, your mortal enemy. Let's say you have an antagonistic relationship with a person. You fucking hate them and they hate you. It's honest. You know where you stand in that relationship. It's beautiful. But then, for some reason, you're at work or you're somewhere, and that person is being extraordinarily kind, nice, and considerate. They're saying, "Hey, you look fucking fantastic. Hey, that thing you did was good." And then you're thinking to yourself, "What the fuck is your problem?" Because you know that that's not how they act. You know that this is all a front. This is all a show. So you say, listen, you confront them. And this is what this is. Listen, I can see through your facade. What do you want? What do you really want? Why are you being nice? Why are you being kind? That's not who you are. So to see through someone's facade, where this expression itself is, well, if you're using this a lot, Jesus Christ, you're in I guess a very competitive and shitty environment. But this means that in the literal context, we see through things, that we can look at something and we can see the objects on the other side. In this figurative concept with a person is that we can look at a person's behavior, but we can still see what we believe are their true intentions. Their intentions. I didn't mean to spell that out. So that's one thing, to see through something. And also we can say that, the window is see-through. In this case, see-through is not a phrasal verb. See-through is an adjective. We've turned that into an adjective now. And so then another way of that is, it is transparent. I don't know why I'm fucking having to say things in syllables. It's transparent. So then what does it mean to see something through? Shouldn't that be the same thing? I mean, if with pick up the kids, oh, for fuck's sake, Kian, make it look pretty, will you? If to pick up the kids and pick the kids up is the exact same thing, it's just choice, whether I use one or the other. Well, why is this one different? Well, Shakespeare wanted it that way. So what does it mean then to see something through? Well, totally different. So let's think about like a process that has a start and an end. And it's like a ligne de montage, or like a production line. We start here, and once we enter, I mean, we can choose to leave, but we can choose also to just follow that process all the way through. And so this is to see something through. When we think about university or school, you go through university because it's just a production line where people start throwing shit on you. And hopefully by the end of receiving all that shit, hopefully you're a flower instead of just a pile of shit. More often than not, you're just a flowery pile of shit. So, okay, Kian, stop fucking trying to be funny when you're not, obviously. To see something through. I started a course last week, but I'm out of my depth. But you know what? What? I'm going to see it through. So what do we mean in this case? Well, what's important when we see the idea of to see something through is the outcome means nothing. So we can look at a course in two ways. Let's say this course. Why would I say I'm going to see it through? Well, either 1 or 2. Shit, that's 12, Kian. So 1, I'm not prepared for the course, which means it's out of my level, it's out of my depth. There's no way I'm going to be able to pass this thing. I'm not even going to understand a single thing that's taught in this. The other is that I'm not going to learn anything. Like, I'm not going to learn anything in that the course is useless for me. So in 1, we feel that we're not going to learn because we're not prepared. It's at a different level. So like, I'm going to fail this test. In the other, I'll probably pass the test, but like already in the first day, you're like, oh, this is like half of the Udemy courses. Like, oh, this is fucking useless. What the fuck is the point of this? And so these are kind of those both conditions. Right at the beginning, you're like, no. And so more importantly, that this ending means absolute shit. You have no expectation of an ending whatsoever, of doing good or whatever. But we decide anyway, you know what? I'm going to see it through. So what does that mean? This means that in spite of the ending, I'm not going to quit. And that's it. Actually, I would say instead of quit, I'm not going to give up. Let's look at this for a second. What's the difference between quit and give up? They both seem the same, and most people will use them the same. Well, to quit is to stop something that is bad for you, essentially. To give up is to stop something or stop doing something, I should put the doing here, that is good for you. For example, you quit smoking, so John quit smoking, or John gave up trying to quit smoking. Or we could even just do it with a gerund and infinitive and say John gave up quitting smoking. Why? Because to quit something requires effort. We're trying to quit a behavior or a comportment that we see as bad, but it's a part of our identity, it's part of our personality, it's unconscious. And so to quit something you've been doing, smoking, complaining, drinking, whatever it is, it requires you to create new behaviors, which requires energy, focus, commitment. To give up is the opposite. To give up requires no effort. You tap out. You're like, ugh, I can't keep this going. Fuck that. All right, I give up. I'll never quit smoking. I give up. I'll never do this thing. So we always quit something. We're putting in effort. So we stop doing something that's bad for you. We try to create a better behaviors. We give up. When we give up, we stop doing something that's good for us. So we're trying to create this new behavior, but we're like, I'm too tired. I'm too old for this shit. I give up. So in this case, I wouldn't say that you quit the course. Where the fuck did I use it? Oh yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm going to quit. Because quit, once again, is sometimes it's a very noble action. It requires you to dedicate yourself to new behavior. It requires energy in. To give up, no. To give up is just to let go. It requires no energy whatsoever. So in this case, in spite of the ending, I'm not going to give up. That would be, here. I can't remember what I said. Oh yeah, to see something through. Of course, that's what we're learning here. Key, focus. And that's it. The other one, that's what we're essentially saying. Was I'm going to see it through means I don't care what the ending's like. Fuck it. In the case of the course that's out of our depth, out of our level, fuck it. Maybe I'll learn something. Maybe it'll make me a little bit better. Maybe I'll get a couple of analogies. A couple of years ago, I watched a lecture because my life is uninteresting and that's all I do to stop myself from killing myself is to watch lectures. I watched a lecture a couple of years ago last year on complex algorithms from Harvard. Their online courses. It was like a 2.5 or 3 hour lecture. I understood fucking nothing because I know nothing about computers or algorithms or anything like that. I just know from my mom that algorithms are responsible for all the evil in the world, even though algorithms are part of the social dynamic of the human brain to understand patterns and seek behavior that rewards the patterns that one has observed in their environment and adapt into those patterns and therefore not be excluded from your tribes and find it more probable to be able to find a partner and to replicate your DNA and continue your species. That aside, my mother says they're responsible for all the evils in the world. I watched this lecture. It was a 2.5 or 3 hour lecture on complex algorithms. And fuck it. And I didn't expect to learn anything because I didn't know what algorithms are. But I thought, what's the hurt? I'm gonna see it through. And so I did. I watched the whole lecture, and along the way, my brain was able to analogize a couple of things. That alone is good. You're exercising your brain. People always wonder, what's the point of learning mathematics? Why do we learn algebra and things like that in school? Well, it's simple. You're by learning math in school, your brain is learning logic and reason. The reason we learn math in school is so that as an adult, we understand and realize that we don't need emotion to solve problems. In fact, when you're emotional and you're trying to solve a math problem, you'll misunderstand the question, even when you know that math inside and out. The trickery is in how the question's asked, because you know the pattern, you know how to solve that, but you'll get confused by the question. And that's what problems are, is our emotions get in our way of our ability to evaluate a problem. And then we make poor decisions based upon that. And math also teaches you that no matter the size of your problem, every problem looks insurmountable and unclimbable when you first see it. It's huge, fucking enormous, because behind every problem is all the things that will happen and go wrong if you don't solve that fucking problem. But math teaches you that every problem can be broken down into a simple sentence and solved piece after piece after piece. And so that's why we study math, because it makes your brain better. It makes your brain prepared for logic, reason, and abstract problem solving and finding abstract solutions that may not exist in the environment you are, but that can be applied to the problem that you're trying to solve and solve that problem, which is the same as watching a 3 hour fucking lecture about shit that you don't fucking do. It's good for you. All right, so that's that. I at the start of that video, I realized I have no fucking idea what I'm on, but I decided to see it through. You know what? Fuck it. Because the ending's not important. If I do not understand that lecture, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to see it through. Or in this case, the course is useless. You start a course and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, there's fucking nothing in this whatsoever. I'm not going to gain anything. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to see it through. And so you decide to keep going with the course anyway. That's what it means to see something through. And that's not just a course. I mean, principally, yes, we can look at a movie. You know, you put a movie on, within the first 3 seconds, you hear the dialogue and you're like, oh, God, this is going to be fucking bad. But then you know what? Fuck it. I hate myself. I'm going to see it through. I'm not going to quit. And like, why would you do that? There's good and bad reasons to see something through. There's a good reason, like, you know what? It can't hurt. And that's another little expression here. What we're going to put here is it can't hurt. This is a well-worn expression in English. Fuck it. Can't hurt. Sorry, got to put that here there as well. Fuck it. It can't hurt. So, what are you going to lose by doing this? You're not doing anything, so fuck it. Let's do the course. For other people as well, they can't give up. Why? Pride. You know, so they don't like to not finish things. They have to finish the course. You know, I realized the course wasn't for me, but I decided to see it through. Because if I stop things halfway through, I get jittery, I have emotional breakdowns, and then I tend to set fire to buildings. It's a thing that made me leave 17 cities in 8 countries. And so for that reason, because of some deep-seated emotional issues, they can't just stop things. They have to always see it through to the end. And that's it. What we're doing here is we're leaving out and we're ignoring these last words here. I'm going to see it through to the end. We don't need these words because we understand just by the phrasal verb alone that it's to start the process and to finish that process. And that's it. Is it? Was that what I was going to fucking teach him? I don't know. You're not here anyway, so fuck it. I'm going to go take my dogs for a run and go train in my garage. So that was it. We have the 2 phrasal verbs. They seem identical. They are identical. They have the same 3 components. But as soon as you put this inside here, it's a brand new fucking concept altogether. And so that's why phrasal verbs as well are fun and nifty in English. Because when we look at a simple phrasal verb, for example, to put up, which we looked in another one, and to put down are very different meanings. To put someone up means to allow a person to sleep on your sofa for the night. Yeah, listen, man, I'll be in São Paulo for the weekend. Can you put me up Friday night? Just means, can you let me slay in your bed? To put someone down is quite the opposite of that, in fact. Well, no, actually, it's not the opposite. It's got nothing to do with it at all. To put someone down is, you're fucking terrible at everything you do. You're not terrible. No, that's an exaggeration. You're just not good. I mean, everything you do is mediocre. It's bland. I mean, you are like one of those, not even a protagonist, you're one of those characters in a movie that's in the back corner of the restaurant who maybe the tip of their toe makes it into the film. I mean, you're unimpressive. I'd like to say that, that you're abrasive or you're rude, but you don't really have the type of personality to be that confident. So you're unnoticeable. That's pretty much it. Yeah. It took me some effort really to even get together the desire to do this speech, because really it's only because you asked for feedback that I'm telling you. If you hadn't have asked, really, you wouldn't have come into my thoughts whatsoever. I'm pretty sure nobody thinks about you. That's kind of how unimpressive you are. That is to put someone down as a person. It's to to be mean and cruel and to say bad things that makes them feel sad. And to put a dog down is a little bit more severe. To put a dog down is to give your dog the green dream. Put a little needle into its neck and your dog goes to sleep, never wakes up again. That's to put your dog down, which is a euphemism. It's a euphemism for kill your dog. Can't be so tragic. I'm not being tragic. I'm just choosing the correct alternative. To kill, murder? No, because murder has an intention. We'll stick with kill. Yeah, to kill your dog. Assassinate your dog. I know it's dying of cancer already, or it's just a burden, and you really wanted to move into that new apartment, but it's only 68 square meters, you know. But yeah, to put an animal down is to, fuck, of course, euthanize your dog. Euthanize, obviously, is the word from where we talk about young people who live in China and in Japan and Korea. Youth in Asia. Youth in Asia? Youth in Asia. What's that got to do with killing? Oh! How the fuck do you spell euthanasia? I think that's it. Hold on. Word's gonna tell me. No. This is embarrassing. No, it's not. I don't give a fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I was being an asshole. That's right. Youth in Asia, because I'm being an asshole, but it's actually spelled euthanasia. See, I fucking knew, because I spelled it right here. Jesus Christ, I was playing. That's all I was doing, was playing the idiot. That's what you tell yourself, Ken. So yeah, to put down an animal is to euthanize an animal. To put a person down is to, I guess it's the same thing, it's to euthanize their confidence and their self-belief and their value and their sense of self-importance and their sense of belonging inside of a community and inside their world. And I guess their sense of their feeling, their value, self-love. Yeah, it's to put it all down with one little green dream of misery. Whereas to put someone up is to let someone sleep at your house. So the idea there that our phrasal verbs, the opposites do not ring true. So the opposite of up is not down in a phrasal verb. It's a brand new idea altogether. And that's what makes phrasal verbs fun, but also a bit of a fuck up for second language learners, because we take ideas that we already have, verbs that already exist, and we find new ways to express them. This is just a modernization of language. It's stepping away from Latin roots and modernizing that language. And regionally, different areas, of course, will have their own colloquial expressions and their own usage of phrasal verbs. And that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it fucking difficult. So the whole point of this was that, to see something through and to see through something. Kian, I can see through your dress. Hi! Or something like that. Anyway, that's it for today's class. As always, love the people who love you. Everybody else is a piece of shit. I'll see you in the next video. Or not. I don't fucking see you. I don't even know who you are.